just conceding .08 of a point. Second, Bribie Island of Queensland, and third, Swansea Belmont. And it's going to be a thrilling finale to the Kellogg's Nutrigrain Junior Ironman, as the lead has just been taken over by David Foyst from Cudgeon Headlands, from Alex Massey of Maroochydore, and third place at the moment, Bagti Tayak of Torquay.
Competitors really forcing themselves out against this strong rip. The gentleman, young chap from Maroochydore, Ashley Massey on the left-hand side, and just got out of the picture on the right-hand side. We've got David Foyster from Cudgeon Headlands on the blue board. Now there's the Maroochydore competitor on the yellow board, paddling out, huge waves building up behind them. Winds are getting stronger as the day goes on. And Ashley Massey from Maroochydore now with a nice little lead over David Foyster from Cudgeon Headlands. These two competitors fought out the first two legs between them, and they're now on the last leg, coming out towards the turning buoys. All they have then is the wave home, and it should be a great thrilling race.
I just noticed one of these swimmers still going on the swim leg, so
yes,
it's still a long way to go from that competitor.
The rip is very strong out there, and if you miss the turning buoy, you've got to swim back, and it's very hard to swim back against that rip. But Ashley Massey now, a great shot coming into the wave there. Very big swells, they're up and paddling over them. Still keeping all their style, which is good to see their coaches drumming that into them, that they've got to keep their style when they paddle, otherwise the wind will just blow them all over the place. Massey now with quite a good lead. You see the orange turning buoy just out the back there, the rescue boat. And going up around the inward black and white turning buoys on the board. Orange one's related to the surf ski. Still Ashley Massey from Maroochydore, still looking fairly fresh, looks around to check out the waves. Big swells building up behind him here. He'll get quite a good lift on this. Doubt if he'll be able to take it all the way in, but it's built up and he's caught it nicely. A wave all the way from the buoys, and paddling strongly now as he comes down to the bottom, taking hold of the side of his board. He'll lay down just here, sure that he doesn't lose it. He sees a gold medal in his sights up. Start paddling. Ashley Massey from Maroochydore, Grant Kenny, the interested spectator down there, waiting for the open final to come shortly. And here he comes now, cornering across the wave, looking great. Right hand in there, just keeping the board level. Massey from Maroochydore now pounding in through these huge surfs at Burleigh Heads in Queensland at the Australian Surf Life Saving Championships. He's got not too far to go, probably about 60 or 70 metres before he reaches the shore. Wave building up again behind him, and he'll take this and paddle strongly. Got an enormous lead now from the second place competitor, Foster from Cudgeon Headlands, who's just come into the picture there. But back on the shore, it's Massey from Maroochydore from the Queensland Sunshine Coast. Up leaves his board, big smile on his face, the crowd's applauding, and look at just how fast he's running. He's just had to travel about 1,500 metres through boiling surf, and he's sprinting like a beach sprint.
Isn't he loving every moment of this? Alex Massey of Maroochydore takes out the junior Ironman in a great performance.
Crosses through the barrier there. Here's the second place getter now. It's Foster from Cudgeon Headlands from the far north coast of New South Wales. They hosted the 1978 Australian Championships, and a host of competitors coming in out the back wave. But Foster on the blue board on the right-hand side of the screen. He'll be the second place competitor. But Massey's win was just enormous on the circumstances.
Yes, considering that Foyster took over at the early stages of the final leg. A good comeback by Massey.
Yes, I think Foster might have lost his way around the buoys a little bit out there, but Grant Kenny now congratulating the winner before he goes back to concentrate on the final of his open event. It comes shortly after this race.
And away they go on the Johnson Wax Ironman, and the rain is starting to come down at Burleigh Heads, and it's all set up. There's a big crowd, and Grant Kenny, who's just won the single ski title, has the advantage of the ski leg first up.
Grant's an excellent ski paddler. He's paddling the red and yellow ski right at the middle of the screen. It's certainly a class meal. Dean Mercer, the New South Wales champion, and his brother Darren, the Kellogg's Nutrigrain champion, Trevor Hendy, the reigning champion last 2 years. Fantastic field in very, very hard conditions.
Others in the field: Jason Mewett from Maroochydore, Miles Blackwell, Alexander Headland, John Robinson from Kurrawa, Mark Bennett's the veteran from Southport, Greg Patrick's from Allura, Trevor Hendy would mention, who's going for 3 in a row, Lawrence Rees from Southport, Queensland, Craig Shelton, who's had success on the board today from Surface, Craig Riddington of Manly, who's never won it but been so close, John Cook from Surface, and another veteran, 2 times champion, Robert Chapman of Allura.
Yes, well, Robert Chapman paddling very well now. He's there on the orange ski and the light blue cap with the white band around the bottom, paddling very easily. And Miles Blackwell on the red and black ski, also paddling strongly there. They've got 3 legs to do, of course. Ski followed by the swim, a very, very difficult swim, and then the board race and the sprint to finish with.
Well, what about the draw? Favours anyone? Hendy, his favourite leg, the board last?
Board last. If Trevor can get out without much problem in the ski, the conditions are very difficult. There's Grant Kenny even having problems. There's Mark Bennett's there from Southport. Grant fell off the ski, Trevor fell off his ski, but they're back on and paddling now. And Maroochydore cap of Jason Mewett there in the bottom of the screen. But Robert Chapman from Allura leading the event. Robert Chapman, a winner of this event way back in 1978. And magnificent competitor of 32 years of age. Competes for the Allura Club in Sydney. The wind is very, very strong. Rain is pouring down. Grant Kenny about to come up and paddle over this wave on the red and yellow ski. Chapman has got a good clear break now, and if he doesn't have much trouble, he's a very, very good swimmer.
Yes, the skill of the surf lifesaver in these conditions come out over 4 days, doesn't it, Paul? The way they were able to read the surf and use it and bide their time and then play the correct tactics.
Yes, I'm sure they've all got great tactics. They need the break in the surf to do it. This surf has been so unpredictable. It's not an even rolling surf. There's waves breaking in places where they shouldn't be breaking. Robert Chapman on the bottom of the screen in the yellow ski got the best run there on that wave, and he's paddling very, very strongly. He's forcing himself into a bit of a lead. You see him working his rudder, trying to skate across. Darren Mercer from Thirroul in second place, and 3 competitors coming up now on Chapman who'll have to paddle to come up with this wave. Probably the best position Robert Chapman's been in an Ironman event for some time. But Darren Mercer there, a magnificent competitor, and his young brother Dean Mercer, the New South Wales champion.
Well, Darren Mercer, a lot of success in the Nutrigrain Longman Ironman competition, but never taken out the short course Johnson Wax national title.
Not an open, no. He's won a junior title. Trevor Hendy back in 3rd place now. It's still Robert Chapman from Allura first. And there's Robert paddling down a wave, a lot of forcing water behind him there. His ski just skimming across the top of the water. Others on the same wave behind him. Darren Mercer and Trevor Hendy now, who's paddled up very well. Considering Hendy fell off his ski at the start, he's made up great ground, Roger.
Yes, and his swim leg, which is next, has improved. Chapman's a very strong swimmer, but remembering that Trevor Hendy has that final board leg.
Well, Trevor Hendy, of course, was placed in the Queensland Open Surf Race Championship, so no slouch swimming himself. There's Trevor Hendy now running along the beach. Huge physique. He's breathing in as much oxygen as he can. Looks, they'll run south to take advantage of the rip. You see them after they enter the water at ankle depth, moving as far south as they can. A host of competitors now coming in, including Grant Kenny there on the red and yellow ski, but it's still Robert Chapman first. Hendy coming up, overtaking him. Chapman's gone back into 2nd place, Darren Mercer 3rd. There's Miles Blackwell, John Robinson, Maroochydore, Grant Kenny running around the flag, Johnny Cook from Surfers Paradise, and Mark Bennett's in his 15th Australian Open Ironman final.
Well, he's rated these conditions this weekend as the worst ever in those 15 years, and significant also, Paul, that Craig Riddington turned 4th going into the swim leg. He's won of the Open Surf Race.
And he's also the world champion, the Australian Surf Race champion. He will put in his best effort now. Craig Riddington will see this as his best chance. He's not that far behind, and he will sprint this surf section as fast as he possibly can, because I'm sure Craig knows if he's not next to Trevor Hendy at the start of the board leg, he's going to do it very tough. Trevor Hendy is an outstanding board paddler, and the way he's swimming here today, he's a very, very good swimmer as well.
And once again, it's a very tough swim. You see the chop, and it's been like that for the 4 days at the carnival.
Now, Darren Mercer is moving right up on Hendy here. Mercer swimming extremely well. Hendy on the bottom of the screen, and Mercer just behind him in the white cap with the blue stripes from Thirroul. They both dive under the wave there. Big waves, strong wind. Competitors must be exhausted after 4 days of competition for their states and their club. And this is the final event on a magnificent program.
Well, some of them, like Bennett and Hendy, have just come back from the Taplin Relay.
Yes, and of course, Hendy was in the board rescue race that he won earlier today, paddled in the board race, paddled in the Taplin Relay, gone through all the heats, quarters, semi-finals. But Mercer now looking very strong as he starts to move up on Hendy. He's also a very good board paddler. Quite a few swimmers now moving along, waiting to try and find Craig Riddington come into this picture, because I don't think it'll be long before Riddington moves up into a place.
So back with the leaders, Trevor Hendy and Darren Mercer. And actually when they get round the buoy, there's the opportunity to pick up the wave. And this is becoming a titanic tussle between these two.
Well, Darren Mercer's putting in a magnificent swim here. He's going to catch Hendy in the next 20 or 30 metres in this swim. He'll want to turn first so that he can have the best chance of the waves coming home. Trevor may have be paying the penalty a little bit here for so many races over the weekend. Mercer is really starting to push on him, and he's going to try and get under his shoulder and drag. You see the waves breaking out further than the boys. They're coming up to the orange buoy where they'll turn.
A tremendous shot to say how awkward it is for the conditions, particularly swimming with the surf and the water bobbling around. Very awkward indeed, and Mercer's decided to go inside underneath Trevor Hendy.
Mercer has cut inside, dives under the wave, big surf. Hendy, of course, very, very strong competitor. Difficult to know what these competitors are keeping in reserve for the final leg. They can't expend all their energy in this swim section. You see them now swimming stroke for stroke. Trevor Hendy on the left of your screen and Darren Mercer on the right. I think Mercer now has just moved into the lead, and the boy from Thirroul, the Nutrigrain champion, he's really pushing it away.
Hendy not wanting him to get too far away is really putting it in now. He realises that Mercer put in a big one to get in front, to get that advantage as they go round the buoy.
And Mercer was able to get a little lift on that swell there. A great tussle in this Johnson Wax Open Ironman Championship. Look at Trevor Hendy move up on that swell. Good wave building up out the back here. A really good wave, and Mercer has been able to get it. Mercer's holding the wave. A brilliant piece of surfing. That gave him quite a good lift. Hendy stops swimming. He looks and waits for a wave building up out the back, and he'll come through and make up some of that lost ground. This is developing into a two-horse race. Mercer punching that water away. Hendy doesn't appear to be tired. He's just taking his time. Knows that he's probably the best board paddler in the field. Craig Riddington from Manly. We knew he'd come into contention on this swim leg, and he's now moved up into third place. Oh, this is going to be a fantastic finish of this second leg of the Australian Open Ironman Championship, and it's still Mercer from Hendy and then Riddington.
So still a lot of work to be done when you consider they've had to swim so hard out to the boys. Riddington just off the back of a wave, Hendy the opportunity. So all three missed the wave. No respite.
Now the places as I see it coming back in now is Darren Mercer in first, Trevor Hendy second, Craig Riddington third, and Dean Mercer, also from Thirroul, in fourth place. Now there's a wave here, and he's pulled over the top of it. Oh, that was great work. Great work, but there's another wave behind, and I'm sure that Hendy will be coming through. Yes, he's on that wave too. They're both punching it on the wave. Hendy surfing well, Mercer in the best position to run. But look at the big legs of Trevor Hendy as he gets up and starts the chase. And here comes Riddington and Dean Mercer. Dean Mercer has now taken over the lead. Dean Mercer now forcing his way along, and followed by his brother Darren Mercer, then Trevor Hendy and Craig Reddington. Reddington a little bit slow on the run. Now Darren Mercer forces his way to the front once again. Hendy just lopes along, those big legs floating along the sand. He said, I want the board leg, and I'm going to go flat out in this one.
What a fantastic setup as we go into the final leg, the board leg, and the Australian champion of last year, Trevor Hendy, surely must think that he's got this a great chance to make it 3 in a row, despite the talents of Darren Mercer, brother Dean and Craig Riddington.
Hendy does know his strengths on the board, and he's just jumped straight on, and in the space of 2 or 3 paddles, he's moved to a 2 or 3 metre lead. Now that's just unbelievable. You watch Hendy, he appears to be very relaxed, but his big strong arms are just forcing through the water. If the waves are not unkind to him, he's going to be very, very hard to beat. Now Mercer's coming along there. We see a host of other competitors coming in. There's Robinson from Curra in the yellow cap with the white stripes. But still Trevor Hendy from Surfers Paradise first, Darren Mercer from Thirroul second, Dean Mercer in third, and Craig Reddington from Manly in fourth. This is going to be a magnificent finish.
And Trevor Hendy continues to increase his lead, and he's doing it beautifully, Trevor Hendy. Look at the gap he's got now.
He's just too strong in the arms and the shoulders, and he loves that surfboard paddling. Now, considering he went into the water at the same time as Mercer, he's probably got a lead of 30 or 40 metres now. A magnificent effort.
Still
some of the back markers now still forcing their way out. They're probably 150 metres behind the leader at this stage, and the conditions, well, Grant Kenny yet to enter the water on the board leg.
So 4 times champion Grant Kenny from 80 to 83 won't add to that, but still he'll go away with the single ski title, and back with Trevor Hendy.
Good to see Hendy's technique. He'll wait till the broken wave comes, ease the nose of his board, and then just loop those big arms over and pull the board through. He doesn't rate very high, but his strength is enormous. Now there's a good sized wave coming up, but a great lead he's got over the last 3 competitors, Riddington and the 2 Mercer brothers. Now Hendy on the left-hand side of the screen. Second place is Dean Mercer from Thirroul on the red board. Then Craig Riddington and Darren Mercer back in equal fourth. A big wave just hit Trevor Hendy then, and this gives the others a chance to catch a little bit. And there's another huge wave pounding down out the back. Hendy forces the board up and he's off. Trevor Hendy's off his board. Regathers it quickly. Young Mercer, Dean Mercer from Thirroul now. Hendy forces his way over that again. Their strength must be sapped, but Hendy's still forcing his way out. Mercer and Riddington now starting to challenge him.
What a fantastic performance by Hendy to regroup and to settle himself down and get back into that lead again. He was in the lead, but there was a threat coming from Dean Mercer and Darren Mercer.
Hendy turns his board over. He didn't try and force his way through that. Perhaps he's getting tired. I still think the big fella's got enough in him here. When the pressure's on, he's going to absolutely pour it on when he gets out the back through these waves and try and establish a gap. But Dean Mercer is putting in an unbelievable struggle here. He's moving up now as they come over another swell. He'll try it. He's off. Dean Mercer fell down and off his board there. He's regrouped and got back on. There he goes, kneeling up again. And Hendy's still paddling away, those big arms forcing the board. Lifts himself up, rests the back, has a look and sees where the boys are. Coming into the first of the turning boys, Trevor Hendy followed by Dean Mercer. Hendy comes around and falls off his board. Hendy's strength is sapped, I think. He gets back on. Dean Mercer unable to pass him because Hendy was in the road. Now, Dean Mercer, a very, very good runner, and there is a lengthy sprint, but here comes Trevor Hendy. His strength just pushes him over this wave. Hendy's going to do it again. He's going to win his 3rd Australian Ironman Championship. He's lost in the foam of that enormous wave out there. It was never in doubt, really. He was just too strong. And when Mercer came up to him and that big wave was there, Hendy said, this one'll do me. And there he goes. Look at him paddling in magnificent style. Trevor Hendy from the Surfers Paradise Club in Queensland. He's going to win his 3rd successive Johnson Wax Ironman Championship of Australia. Straightens the board up nicely. There'd be a great grin on his face if we could get close to him.
What a fantastic performance, because not only has the surf been at him, but his opponents have been right after him going up towards the buoys, and he's come through with this fantastic performance, Trevor Hendy, to make it 3 in a row.
He's probably had the heaviest. Here comes Mercer out the back on another wave. Mercer's going to challenge. Now here comes Mercer on the red board on the right-hand side of the screen. He's really put in a big effort. It's going to be a lot closer, and Mercer's got the best of the run. Mercer's off. Mercer's going to win it. Dean Mercer from Thurrool. Dean Mercer from Thurrool racing down, and it's Dean Mercer. Dean Mercer has beaten Trevor Hendy. What an upset.
What a sensational finish. Out of the blue, Dean Mercer.
And here comes Darren Mercer, his brother, into third place. Now the paddle of Dean Mercer on that board after Hendy caught the wave was just unbelievable.
And just when we were talking about Trevor Hendy wrapping up his third Ironman title, this is the performance of Dean Mercer picking up that wave and coming right through and giving himself the opportunity, first off in the board, the best place, and putting the pressure right back on the current champion.
It's quite unbelievable that Dean Mercer was able to catch up. Hendy had an enormous lead. Mercer just didn't stop trying. Up and around, position himself better. Hendy struggling there to try and win his third in a row. But the young boy from Thurrool, Dean Mercer, comes through and breasts the tape in convincing fashion to win the Johnson Wax Ironman Championship.
So Dean Mercer breaking through for his first official senior Ironman title. Trevor Hendy so close to making it 3 in a row, and Darren Mercer completing a great day for the Mercer family and for the Thurrool Club on the New South Wales South Coast.
I've waited 10 years for this.
Okay, you've got Dad on top. Johnny Mercer's up there now. Dean, that board leg was your best leg.
I think the whole thing really, I was just happy with everything.
What about that final sprint there with Trevor Hendy?
Darren! Well, the last 2 years it's been a sprint up the line with me for the junior Ironman. I've missed out 2 years in a row there, so maybe the third time I got it, eh?
Well, it's a very happy family with the whole Mercer family. Congratulations, John. Well done to you.
Thanks.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Ironman, Dean Mercer. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you.